Hello and welcome to this video. My name's David Dawn. This is now the 11th video tutorial within inside of my C programming playlist. Now in the last video we talked about char arrays, and I kind of skipped over this because I didn't mean to do it, but there's an elephant in the room. There's this red thing on the screen. Array type char 6 is not assignable. Okay, and in the last video I skipped over it because I just made a mistake of doing it, and this is just my Swift programming days, like automatically doing it. All right, because Swift is super more clever than C, and I wanted to explain why this won't work. Now, if you are a C programmer, please don't watch this video because I'm going to explain it in a very non-C way, all right? And I'm going to try and leave out as many words as possible that I haven't covered yet, all right? So the most important thing to note is once you create this this variable, this collection of chars with 6 spaces in it, okay, once you do this, once you declare it but you don't initialize it, right? Remember, initialization is if we have a char d equals d, this is then declaration, and this is then initialization with a value, all right? But this here is declaring it, but it's not initializing it, even though if we run the debugger, we're going to see that it is declared and it is initialized, all right? Because it has as much stuff in it as possible that you want to see. Let's see, it's just got random rubbish inside of it because that's what was in memory at that one space at the time when the name variable or collection got created. And Xcode is nice enough to show us the rubbish that's in it already. Okay, so let's stop this. Now, what we've got to do from here is if you want to put the name in it, like we did in the last video, you've got to go through and allocate each spot manually. Okay, if you want to be able to access memory, if you want to be as close to the hardware as possible, right, and have as complete control over it, there's some things you have to give up, all right, and that's the ease of doing things. And you know, with great power comes responsibility, or whatever it was. Here we need to do it manually here. Okay, now there are some other functions in C that we can use, but I don't want to get into them right now. So, but just remember is that if you want to separate declaration and initialization of a char array, of a fixed char array, okay, then you've got to manually insert that data afterwards, all right? Now, you don't have to insert every element. As you can see now, we've got THORN, and we've got then the null terminator. Okay, this is called a null. So let's go back to this once again, a null terminated string. And I kind of skipped over this in the last video as well. And so what we're going to say is then name, and is then going to be the braces. So we're going to say, hey, at compile time, just work this out for us, all right? This is all done at compile time. There's no runtime in this. So you've got to remember is that once this file is compiled, it's in that memory or it's in that program, and it's never going to change, okay? So let's just run it with an empty string right now. There's literally nothing inside there, just a cursor. And let's see what we get in the debugger now. I always believe it's better just to look at debuggers because you see exactly in memory what's happening. And you see that it's got a length of 1, right? Because it has one element in it, okay? And that's the 0th element, the 0th index. And it's got the \0. This is a null terminated string. And this is what these quotes mean. It's saying, hey, let's just write it in the other way that we wanted it, right? Let's do it this way and run it again, just to see the difference of what we get, all right? And you can see once again, we are getting this \0. And this is exactly what this empty string means. \0 means exactly, I'm pointing with my finger, which you can't see, exactly this \0. That is what it is synonymous to, all right? Now, if we just did this here and we run it again, this is synonymous to what we just did before, right? And you can see it's the same character, all right? So if we want to create this one, if we want to create a string, let's just do my initials instead, just to be a bit easier. And like I said, when we do print here and we do name, and Xcode is going to help us with this anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I mean, it's going to show us whilst we're typing what's in that name. And you can see once again, we're going to say it's got three things in it. And okay, well, let's run this again. And now we can see we've got 0, 1, and 2. And we printed out that random rubbish once again. That's because we didn't give it this null terminator, all right? And this will now work, all right? But it's going to cause an error. Look, excess elements in array initializer. This is because we told it had 3 pieces. Look, there's the 0, there's the 1, there's the 2, and this is then the 3. Well, we need to give it 4. If there's 4 elements in it, well, this is now 4 elements in the array. All right, we run it again, and we now get DJT. Okay, so what you have to really understand is that the first element in the array is the 0. Is the 0 space. The second element in the array is the 1 index. The third element in the array is the 2 index. So if someone shows you a collection and says, this, I want the 0th index, right? What you can do is you can take the nth index, right? So this is the 0th index, and we're just going to replace it with n. And the size of the array, or we're going to say the length of the collection, is n plus 1, all right? Now, if you want to know, if someone tells you the length of the array and you want to then get the last element in the array, well, then we know it's length minus 1, okay, is then equal to the last element in the array, right? And 0 is always going to be the first element in the array, okay? So, we've now spoke about the null terminated string, right, and the null character basically here, and that if you create a collection, right, it's done at compile time. This is what you have to remember. It's done at compile time. It's not done at runtime. All right. So this here, char name, is synonymous to this here. They are both the same thing. Even they have the same names. Let's just get rid of it. Whoops. Let's just rename it to name 1 to get rid of this errors. These are synonymous with each other. They're exactly the same things, all right? Because it's done at compile time. And once you understand this, compile time and runtime are 2 different things, all right? Runtime is when you actually run in the application and the program doesn't know what information you're going to give. It knows what type you're going to give, and it knows possibly what length you're going to give, or it knows what to do with it because you've told what to do with it. But when we come down to collections like this, you've got to be explicit, all right? And to transfer data from one collection to another, it's got to be explicit, box for box to transfer. Now, like I said, there's another function in the C library that does this, but we're going to go over this later, all right? So this was just the chart array continued. We're going to go into arrays a lot more, all right? But I just wanted to get rid of the elephant in the room in the last video. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.